today's video, I'll be playing the Tiger 2H, one of my favorite tanks in the entire game, and the ME262A2A, one of my favorite planes in the entire game. The ME262s in general are some of my favorite planes, so I'm very glad that I have this one. The A2A Sturmvogel, I might be pronouncing that incorrectly, I'm not sure, was actually an event vehicle from 2016 or 17. I'm not sure exactly which year because I didn't grind for this event. I wound up getting this plane out of a Golden Eagle crate, and what makes this plane special is, from what I've been reading, is that it's somewhat rare, which isn't the special important thing, but it's just a plus. But the special and important thing about this plane is that it's the lowest BR ME262 in the game. So if you do not include the A2A, the lowest BR 262s are the Yabo and the A1A, both sitting at 7.0, and the A2A sits at 6.7. So it's the same BR as your Tiger tanks, which is a huge plus, because you don't have to raise your up tiers to 8.0 by having 7.0 planes on your lineup. And so that's a huge plus with this plane. That's my favorite thing about it. And what differentiates this plane from the Yabo is that it can carry bombs just like the Yabo, two SC-250s and one SC-500. But the difference is that it has two less cannons in the nose. So whereas the Yabo and all the other 262s have four 30mm MK108s in the nose, this one only has two. And from what I've read, it was to counteract the weight of the bombs. And because I think this was one of the first fighter bomber variants of the 262, I'm not entirely sure. I think it was one of the first ones though, whereas the Yabo came afterwards. And so yeah, just to talk a little bit about the plane. But I got two nukes with the Tiger 2s, or Tiger 2. I got two nukes, which you'll see in the video. And then for the 262 gameplay, I've compiled a bunch of clips of me bombing targets and taking out planes in ground battles with the 262, just to kind of keep the 262 gameplay kind of fast-paced and more eventful, because a lot of the times when you're playing matches and you spawn in a plane, the match is kind of drawn out. You might not see planes for a while, and this one only gets one SC-500, so you're only going to be dropping bombs once before you have to go back to the airfield. So the 262 gameplay will be kind of like a compiled, a bunch of compiled clips of gameplay of it, just to kind of keep it a little bit fast-paced. And but that's how the video will be. I hope you guys enjoy, and I guess let's get into some gameplay. For this match, I'm going to try and move up along the outside of A, and just try and see what I can do. Hopefully be able to get a few kills.
Panzergranate geladen! Ziel ausgeschaltet! Panzergranate geladen! Ziel zerstört! Panzergranate geladen!
Let's help this dude repair real quick. if I'd have just shot a little bit sooner, I would have got him.
Panzergranate geladen. Thank you.
Feel like I need to watch over here. Get my machine guns reloaded.
Another zone captured. We have the advantage. Maschinengewehr geladen. Just keep it up, and victory will be ours. Ziel zerstört! Panzergranate geladen. Ziel ausgeschaltet! Panzergranate geladen. Enemy forces have captured a zone. Ziel zerstört! Und Sieg! Ziel zerstört! Panzergranate geladen. Treffer getauscht! Jemand getroffen!
Wow.
Seite! Ziel ausgeschaltet!
KV-1 bounced my 88.
Panzergranate geladen. Wir wurden getroffen! Ziel zerstört! Panzergranate geladen.
I don't think I'm gonna spawn the 262 this match because I want to see how good I can do in the tank.
A little more effort. Wir wurden getroffen! Ziel zerstört! Panzergranate geladen. Ziel beschädigt! Ziel zerstört! Kämpfer repariert!
What?
Ziel getroffen!
T-34, 12 Uhr.
Ich lade ein! Kämpfer repariert! Panzergranate geladen! Kämpfer getauscht! Ziel ausgeschaltet!
If I can just get one more kill, I'll have a nuke. There we go.
Ziel zerstört!
Got the nuke.
Feuerbereitschaft.
Ziel zerstört! Panzergranate geladen!
I'd have just waited 1 second.
Getroffen!
Well, I'll just... My vertical guidance on my cannon's out, so I'll just spawn a nuke in. Hopefully I have enough time. 15 kills, 1 death.
A little more effort, and victory will be ours.
we go. Bombs out. It's a pretty good game. That's exactly why the Tiger IIs are one of my favorite vehicles in this entire game. They're one of my favorite vehicles in real life as well. shot my bomb. So it didn't even, they didn't even do anything by shooting me. They just made everything die faster.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close. Gramercy. Attention to the map. Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close. captured a zone. Enemy forces have captured a zone. We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning. Hello. If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win. Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Well, that's going to be it for today's video. The Tiger 2H is one of my favorite tanks in the entire game. In my opinion, it's just an amazing tank to play. It's a very versatile, heavy tank. I mean, it's just very fun to play in my opinion. It's a very good tank. And if you're grinding to it, or if you haven't tried it out somehow, I would 100% recommend keeping grinding to it or trying it out, because it's a blast to play. It's a very fun tank. And the ME262A2A, it's a great plane. I'm really glad that I have this plane. I enjoy playing it. It was actually my first cast plane. I'd never even had planes on my lineup until I got this. And I'm just very glad that I have it. If you have this plane and haven't tried it out, I would definitely recommend trying it out. But I know it's available. I think it's available anyway on the market. I don't know if I would recommend getting it off of the market. I'm a console player. I don't even have access to the marketplace, and so I don't have any idea how much it's going for. And so I have no I don't know if I would recommend getting it off the market. So I'm not recommending that. But if you already have it, I would definitely recommend trying it out and giving it a go, because it's a great plane. I really like this plane. I'm very glad that I have it. But there is kind of a point that I wanted to bring up with this, though. And that's that Germany has this gap in the air tree at 6.7. And so I'm not very affected by this since I have this plane. And this is one of the reasons that I'm very glad that I have it. But Germany is missing planes to go with the Tigers at 6.7. And there's just kind of like this gap. And with the removal of the Tiger II 105 and the Panther II, since they both sit at 7.0, I know the Panther II used to be 6.7, but the Tiger II 105, as far as I know, was always 7.0. And so players playing Germany really don't have any reason to be running the Yabo or the A1A on their lineups, since they don't have 7.0 tanks to go with them. Because, I mean, tanks are the backbone of a ground battle, and it's just impractical to raise your up tiers to 8.0 by having 7.0 planes on your lineup without having proper tanks to go into battle with. And so there's just kind of like this gap in the German air tree that I wanted to point out. And because your next best bet for a fighter below the 262A1A would be the BF-109K4, which is an entire BR lower than your Tigers are. And then the 152H1 is a high altitude fighter. The 152C3 is more of a multi-role cast plane. It's not the best at just dogfighting and everything. It's not very good at dogfighting, period. A lot of things can outturn you. A lot of things can outclimb you. And things can keep up with you pretty easily. And so there's just kind of like this gap. There is the 262A1U4, but it's more strictly of a cast plane. It's not really a multi-role plane that you can drop bombs and then take out enemy planes with. It's more of just a strictly ground pound plane, and that's the only plane that Germany has to go with the Tigers at 6.7. And so that's why I'm really glad that I have this plane, but I'm bringing this point up because a lot of players don't have this plane. And with the removal of the Tiger 105 especially, there's no reason for players playing Germany anymore to run these, because it's just impractical, like I said, to raise your up tiers to 8.0 while being stuck with 6.7 tanks. And so another thing I wanted to point out is that for the USA, they have the F-84 at 7.0 that has access to 2 1,000-pound bombs, and or the A2D, which has access to 3 2,000-pound bombs, or 1 4,000-pound bomb, or 3 1,000-pound bombs at 7.0. But they have 7.0 tanks to go with those, like the T-92, the M46, the T-29, the T-95, and the USSR. They have the T-44-100 at 7.0, and they have the Su-9 to go with it at 7.0. And then Great Britain, they are closer to the situation that Germany's in, but they still have a more effective ground vehicle to go with their planes. But they have the Attacker at 7.0 that has access to two 1,000-pound bombs, and then they have the Conway at 7.0 as a tank destroyer to kind of go with it. But Germany has they have the Jabo at 7.0 and the A1A at 7.0, but the only 7.0 vehicle they have to go with them is the Kugelblitz, which I'm not sure if the Kugelblitz should even be 7.0 anyway. But they don't have any tanks at 7.0 to go with these planes, and so a lot of players, including myself, find it impractical to raise your up tiers, like I said, to 8.0 by having 7.0 vehicles on your lineup when you don't have proper tanks to go with those vehicles. And so this is just kind of a point that I wanted to bring up. I think it would be really cool for Gaijin to have like some event or something at least one time where they bring back the Tiger 105 and the Panther 2 and the Coelian. Bring them back in some type of event at least once for people to acquire. Or either they could add the ME262B2A, which is a ME262 that has a little bit of a heavier frame. It's a two-seater, and so it'd have slightly worse performance than all of the other 262s, which I think would be a good enough reason to put it at 6.7. And but it has, what would make it useful is that it has it would have the quad 30mm MK108s in the nose, but it would also have access to two SC250s, which the Jabo and the A2A already have access to, but it would have access to two SC500s, or it could be modified to carry a SC1000 or an SC1800. And so I think that it would be a very good addition for the German tech tree at the German air tree at 6.7, and it would give players playing Germany a proper traditional CAS plane that drops bombs and has more traditional style guns in the nose to deal with enemy planes. And so I think that it would be a good addition for the German air tree, and give players definitely give players a more capable plane to have to play with the Tigers. And either that, or either lower the A1A to 6.7 to see how it does, or and if it winds up just overperforming, then just raise it back up to 7.0, but just to give players playing Germany at least some way to try and deal with enemy CAS and everything. But yeah, so I just wanted to bring those points up. But like I said, that's going to be it for today's video. I would 100% recommend both of these vehicles if you have them, or if you're grinding to the Tigers. Would 100% recommend it. If you already have the A2A, I would 100% recommend trying it out. These are both very good and effective vehicles. And but that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. I'd really appreciate it if you left a like, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.